And welcome everyone to tonight's match versus Chicago Syndicate and Philadelphia Phantoms? No, I don't know what they are.
Plague.
Plague. Unfortunate, but this is probably one of the Ruby matchups of the season that you wanted to look out for here. Both these teams are doing well in the standings and pretty heavy hitters, so I'm excited to get into it tonight.
I'm very excited. Like you said, a lot of heavy hitters. There are definitely some names on there that we've seen for a while now. We've seen what they can do. And honestly, if I don't see a JD Torb, I think this entire night is ruined. I'm going to put that out there. And that might be a bold take to some because apparently he's a support player or whatever. But I think regardless, this should be a good match.
Yeah, I know. Look, I know the Twitch chat. I know they're sad. They want JD on the Torb. I want JD on the Torb. I don't think that's going to be in the cards for us. And I don't think Chicago has much practice due to chalk to veil. But what they have done together, it has always been with JD in the support slot. So it would be interesting for them to swap them off here. I don't think we're going to see that.
Probably not, but it is unfortunate. Like we said, we would love the fan service of the JD Torb, but I think overall, when he is actually on that support role, he does a very good job, and it's going to be important having to back up some of these other guys. Blue Jay's a new name this season, but honestly, man's been putting in work. Vanguard we've seen from last season, an incredible tank player. And it's going to be kind of an uphill battle for him because Vanguard does like to int on the occasion. So it is nice to see some of these newer names with some of these kind of older veteran players versus when you go to Philly. That, I want to say, is a lot of some names that we should be familiar with.
Yeah, so again, Philly mixing and matching every season with the roster, what they're cooking, but fully has a core set of players that he drafted, and they are really good on this Diva comp that they've been running. With the venture, they just sort of 5-man int your backline, and has been giving them a lot of success this season.
We are going to see the Zarya come out very quickly, probably knowing that they are going to be running this Diva comp. I like that a lot more. But the players on Philly are starting to drop a little bit low. They do lose Blue Jay on Chicago.
Yeah, and it looks like Chicago's whole plan here is to play around just not letting the Diva play the game. You see the beams coming out. Diva is pretty overtuned right now, so their whole comp is just centered around the Diva not getting to play the game. You have the Sim, the Czar. The Moira is very survivable with the Fade, and if you save your Lucio speed amp. So Chicago just looking to kite and let these beam characters ramp up with like a sort of longer, more drawn out fight where the Diva can't really stay in front there.
Not only that, but with those beam characters you were talking about, that puts Laggy at another disadvantage because what are you going to deflect? You're going to deflect some Mei attack? You're going to deflect a Sim beam? That's not going to work. So playing the Genji into this comp is also going to be a struggle. So Philly might have to look for some early changes unless they are that confident in their abilities.
They haven't been forced to swap off this yet. I believe they are confident. And here they go. They go for the engage.
Fully down. There is
coming
a
out from
beat.
Chicago. And yeah, it's just a wrap.
I kind of like the beat there. Just really make sure as foliage on this venture engages, don't worry too much about it. Just beat. Make sure your beam character's doing what they're supposed to.
Ooh.
Fresh having a late reset,
Big
unfortunately.
Stagger. Big stagger.
We're going to see a Pharah now, though.
Yeah, no hit scan in sight, so yeah, I was going to say that looks like a good swap from the side of Philly there. But of course, we do have some big ults coming up on both teams. We have Grab, Cole, both DPS ults coming up on the side of Chicago. Andrew does have a free remake here if he chooses to use it.
They're going to open with an early window that does get walled off immediately, hopefully to break that good. Now we're going to see, can they get much value from this wall?
Ooh, the Cole coming out. The lamp got some value there, though.
Now everybody's just clicking the funny alt button.
And Philly's all in. It is maybe an overcommitment, but they will potentially get the point here. Oh,
Wait,
big
a late
nail.
Blizzard. Oh, this could be
Oh.
good. Ends up with laggy. It's now just the D.Va versus May.
Oh, but the carry's back on point. Each team with a tank and support. Oh, Foliage joining the fray.
Foliage is back. Barrage should probably set this one up for Philly's favor. Okay. Like you said, very expensive, but that was kind of wild.
Expensive on both sides, though. Chicago did commit quite a bit there, and even though it was expensive for Philadelphia, they needed to win that fight to keep the map alive.
I do like some of the other swaps that we are seeing. Blue Jay going over to this Cassidy, try to have that fighting power against this Pharah. Unfortunately, does die to it, so I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
I think that is sort of the downfall of playing against this Philly team. D.Va is just in such a great spot right now, and Andrew is so good at the character that if you're kind of not committed to just focusing the D.Va with beams, then the D.Va's not going to die. And now that they're off the venture, you're going to start seeing that because you need a hit scan to counter the Pharah, Andrew's going to be able to do a lot more now that he doesn't have 4 beams in his face.
This is true, but never doubt Vanguard on the Zarya. Blue Jay taking out Fresh is also huge. This is 2 in the side of Chicago. It seems like Philly is going to try and stall as much as they can so that way they can bide their time for overtime. Where's Rush?
I think
Rush is off the side of the map.
He got booped. Yes, he got booped. And he did not cast it on the actual map, unfortunately.
Oh, that's so upsetting. But honestly, you know, even though their comp was a little hard to play at the start, Philly did have a good kind of resurgence there. Chicago will take that first point, and we are going to see Andrew start to look over at some other tanks. Probably not going to stay on the D.Va knowing what's coming.
I was going to say, I think this is really shaping up to be interesting here. This is the first time Philly's been in a situation where they've been pressured to swap off that sort of comp. I think maybe on Circuit they may have ran the SIG once or twice just because that is the SIG map. But even last week they did force it on Circuit Royale as well. So this is the first time we're actually having to see Philly have to make some adaptations with that comp.
And honestly, you trust Andrew on this.
Oh, big opening boop from Ghostface.
My God.
And honestly, that might just be the point. The first
That
fight.
should be the point. Andrew is falling dangerously low and going to fall. There goes Fresh. Both DPS from Philly should just be backing up. And now we should be looking at Blue Jay, probably Cap. Yeah, we're going to see the Cap come out from Chicago.
Absolute brilliant boop there to just take the BAP out of the fight and shut down Philly before the fight even really started. And it looks like they're going to try to go across bridge again.
Looking for another one. Unfortunately, misses out on the boop. But still doing way too much
Late
damage
land,
to Andrew.
yeah. Got melted. Fully on the off angle, though, looking for some poke to keep the fight alive. And Laggy able to secure the kill from the direct rocket.
But now should be a 3v3. Foliage is going dangerously low, but going to have to back off so he doesn't go down. I mean, right now, pace on both sides, but Chicago's still able to kind of hold on.
Yeah, Vanguard is just doing tremendous work on the Zarya. Cole committed.
It's going to help him take out 2.
Yeah, Philly looks super split right now. Foliage is kind of on these off angles trying to pressure, and I don't know. I think Andrew is just struggling on the front line against the Zarya. There's just too much damage between the Sim, the Zarya. It's not looking pretty.
If you were Andrew, what would you be playing to counteract the Zarya? I mean, my mind, first thing I think of is Winston, but I don't remember Andrew being a particularly fun Winston player.
Oh, hold on, we have window out here, but trade
on both sides. There's a grab. Foley's gonna try and even it up, but I don't think he'll be able to make it out with those beams hunting him down.
Yeah, he's gonna die late here, and that's not what you want.
That was just one ult too. You're looking at a 2 ult, usage out of Philly. They might not have anybody who can touch, but you're gonna be walking into a wall, a beat, and a Deadeye.
And they don't even touch.
Oh, like he was at the window, but dashes up instead of through it. That is an unfortunate map 1 on Philly, but a really good showing for Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? That's what you get when you sign a Genji one trick to your team. Everyone take notes. You don't want that guy. Jokes aside, though, that was, as you said, an impressive showing from Chicago. And I think the first real team to make Philadelphia sweat, especially on their Diva Venture comp. They sort of just been inting backlines all season long. Chicago finally able to kind of stonewall it there, forcing them onto the back foot.
For this upcoming map, we have this new season. You guys can go through, pick out of the map pool any mode you want, and then out of the 3 options in most modes, where do you think that Philly is taking us?
That's honestly a good question. Again, they've this season so far been so dominant. We haven't seen them have to fight off the back foot yet. Typically, I'd say if they'd get a map choice, they would want something, close quarters where they could enable that rush comp they sort of have with the Diva, the like pseudo dive rush comp that they run. But as we just saw, it kind of got stonewalled there. So I honestly, it could be anything. We could see anything here. Obviously, I know Foliage was playing the Venture, the Far there, the projectile DPS, but by no means is his and Laggy's hit scan something to scoff at. Like, we could potentially see a very typical standard like double sniper or double hit scan map, sort of like Circuit Royale come out here. And Andrew has played the SIG, could still potentially play the Diva on Circuit, maybe not as optimal as the SIG, but you could probably still find value in it. So yeah, I don't know what kind of look they're going to give us here.
I think we are about to go see us some Kings Row. Yup, always a fan favorite. And honestly, like you're talking about, I think this is probably one of the best maps and one of the best modes to promote that kind of rush dive style that they've had. And we've seen them play this map, before, even throughout seasons. They have always looked good on this map. So hopefully this should be the turnaround that Philly needs to get them back in, get their mentals down, not have to worry about what's going on from Chicago.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm still curious. I do want to see if they're going to force the Diva, though, just with how that Zarya showing went there. Andrew, obviously, great Diva player, but in the past, we've seen him run the Ram to varying degrees of success. I think we have seen him Sigma on those sort of, long range double sniper-esque maps, but if we're not going to run the Diva, I wonder what the pick's going to be out of Andrew. Because with that sort of hybrid rush comp, you have the Genji, you have the Venture, where Lucio speed boosting in. Do we see maybe the Rhine? It's being teased right now. He's flickering it. Yeah, I was going to say, we could run over the Zarya with the Rhine, but then we have Brilliant on the Bastion, so that might not be fun to play against for him. I don't know. Maybe Brilliant has some insider information, or just anticipating the Rhine swap. Yeah. Might just be anticipating the Rhine swap to sort of overpower the Zarya in the brawl. But yeah, they're gonna come out on the Rhine.
I think once Philly sees the comp that Chicago is running, I think they'll keep the same composition they had, but play it vastly differently. Unfortunately, Foley goes down way too fast. Chicago's going to take that and be a little aggressive, try to see if they can work in another pick here. Meanwhile, they're losing 3 players to take out 1. I don't know if that's worth it.
I think there's going to be some swaps. There's going to be some swaps coming out, I think. Most definitely, I think they're going to swap the Rhine. Huh?
It looks
Okay, we
like
do
we're
have a
gonna see
cast.
some hit scan. I
Okay,
think what I
almost
think they're
swap.
gonna do is just use the Rhine to rush in both of those DPS, so that way Andrew might just be, the punching bag for a little bit. Let everybody focus him, so that way let the rest of your team take care of business. And so far, they are making their way quickly on the point. Laggy and Andrew going in on the Bastion, but going down.
And we had an absolutely huge anti-nade there from Darklaw. The resident Torb main getting a big sleep and a big anti there, sort of to secure the kills, keep the Bastion up. That was very well played. They kind of want to play. Philly kind of wants to play faster. Anytime you have a high beam like high charge Zarya being sustained through the fight, you don't want that. But Vanguard doing an impeccable job at managing these bubbles and staying high charge and being able to just stay in the fight, even with them trying to speed in.
Now, there is no more speed, so the Rhine's going to get a lot less value, but Discord's going to be a thing. I honestly don't know if I like that trade. I think I would much rather have the speed here, but maybe Shogun is just goated. Fortunately, not going to keep Andrew alive, or himself alive, or Foliage alive. Vanguard's got 4. Please let him get the ace.
They're asking for a pause.
There it is. Ooh, there is a P. I wonder. I'm not sure what the pause is for. Seems like most people. Bye. So it seems like the pause has been figured out. We should be returning to the game soon. But while we are still paused, I do kind of want to talk about what Philly is looking at, right? Philly, they're coming up on a lot of ults. Unfortunately, Chicago is going to have their ults faster. What do you think is going to be the big impact ult that kind of saves them from Chicago?
Shogun close to that Trank here. If he could get that online before the Grav comes out, they definitely have a chance to take it this fight. They have some other ults coming up for themselves.
There's the Grav. They're gonna look to nuke the Grav. It's gonna take out one. Andrew's not down though, but with the beam, it's just not much he can do.
Yeah, and that was textbook there by Vanguard again, pushing up on the corner. They have the Bastion ult and just going for the combo. And again, great at maintaining his charge here. Usually, again, Zarya sometimes on the back foot against these Rhine comps if you don't play it right, and he's playing it flawlessly.
We've seen Vanguard, last season, an expert tank player. He knows how to run these comps, but now he's got to run into some of these ults coming out from Philly. The Deadeye's looking for him. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get him, and might cost his life. Here comes a Nano Visor. Laggy's gone. Andrew dies while in Trank. That's disastrous. And they
Ooh,
get
and a late
Shogun
pick.
in the spawn. Philly needs to regroup and quickly because they're going to be walking into rally, even with 3 ults of their own. But if they're not careful, Vanguard will sneak up on them and get another grab.
Grab, yeah, grab close. Bastion ult close. And again, Rally could shut down 2 of these ults here.
Here comes the rally. There's the shatter. Blue Jay kills himself with his own rockets, I think. Vanguard takes out Laggy. Andrew goes down. The grab combo looks like it should finish things up. Not a full hold, right? They got 1 tick. Definitely a full hold.
Oh, but yeah, 1 tick, 1 tick. So there is a chance, right? There is a chance. We're not looking at
A
complete
situation.
draw. Yeah, there is a win con here, but they need to play this defense flawlessly.
Perfectly. This is going to be a tough fight for Philly. I mean, I think Andrew's a great tank. The Rhine was not working. Once you saw the Bastion, I think a swap needed to be made. Now, could I tell you what tank he should have played? No. Bastion's kind of a lame character that you have to deal with sometimes, but I think just sticking the Rhine and, waiting things out, it did not work for them.
Yeah, again, Vanguard honestly just putting up sort of a masterclass on the Zarya here. My philosophy is when you kind of get drug into like this counter pick game, because Andrew being the diva player, I usually tend to opt for a mirror. Obviously, if you're not feeling that, if you feel your Zarya's not up to par, or again, even though yes, you are high charge, again, playing Zarya into Bastion isn't always fun either. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, especially on this defense here. The Immorts and the Lucio beat on the side of Philly have to be impeccable here, along with the spacing, or they're just gonna play for a grab combo and then go try to take this tick.
Blue Jays looking for early kills on the Widow. They need to be very careful about where they are standing. I love the May pick though. Maybe try to wall off and isolate some of these targets so that way Foliage and Andrew can just rush in onto them. But with the fear of the Widow, I don't know how effective some of these things are going to be.
And again, Vanguard able to play really patiently now without the Rhine.
Brilliant down and no res. All right, Philly off to 2. Foliage does go down. Blue Jays alive in the back, and they're going to take out Laggy.
That's absolutely massive. Even if they get Blue Jay here, Chicago's gonna come back, and Vanguard's walking in with charge. Oh wait, no, I lied. I did lie. Okay, I didn't see him die. I was too busy watching the Widow in the back there.
Yeah, what a crazy play from Blue Jay. But unfortunately for Chicago, everybody from Philly is back. They're gonna start dancing on the point a little bit. Foley's in the back, going to assassinate the Widow, but it can't find it, and he's gonna pay with his life. And this is Chicago all day.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate there. It looked like Foley sort of hard committed there on the Widow, who was very close to dropping. And Andrew sort of tried to follow up on that, but once that Zarya's in your face, yeah, you have the great support, the Zarya in your face, Bastion on some off angles looking to wheel. It just was not in the cards, unfortunately.
I think this is the first time we're gonna see Philly down 2-0 in a series.
Yeah, I must say I'm thoroughly impressed. I've been rooting for Chicago. I'm a hard Chicago stan this season, if you will. But I think a lot of people were definitely giving Philly that sort of that #1 seed, right? I know we're only halfway through the season, but I think the general consensus was that Philly's venture comp was super scary and unbreakable, at least up until now. So this is definitely a great outing here from Chicago, and I think definitely gonna keep everyone in Ruby on their toes now.
Now we just talked about it. It's 2-0 on the side of Chicago. Philly has been playing a little understaffed, we'll call it. Fresh the absolute GOAT has been in, but a lot of their salary did go on the side of these supports. So it seems Dyer's in and going to be able to hop onto the team. Might give Philly that extra oomph they need to help battle against Chicago. And to be honest, I personally am a fan of Philly. I never really wanted them to win before because Pitt has been playing against them for nonstop. But now that I don't have to worry about them beating us at some point or another, I'm excited to see this Philly team. And I was one of those people who I thought they were going to be up at number one, but honestly, I think this so far, like you said, this has just been Vanguard on the Zarya all day. The man has just been putting in so much work, had a 4K and a 5K last map. We're going to have to see what is going to happen now that we have Dyer in and where we're going to go. Because Escort, Push, and Flashpoint are now on the table.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, you pointed out Dyer. We have the missing piece of the main roster now in play. Obviously, you always love to see the sort of Cinderella story, the reverse sweep. And now he's here. So maybe you're right. A lot of the Sal did go to Philly's backline. And they have been absolutely essential into enabling the dive/rush comp that they've been running all season long. So maybe we have Dyer back on the Lucio or the Moira that he's been playing. Maybe that makes a difference here. The vibes, the coordination, it might just be back in sync. I don't know. We'll have to see. We will have to see.
We're going to go to Esperanza. I personally am not a big fan of Push, but I know that this map is definitely one that, you have to be careful with what Chicago is bringing. Because unless all of a sudden Vanguard decides that he wants to go off the wall and play, some other tank, you're going to expect that Zarya to come back. So, maybe with Dyer back in, with this full roster, like you said, the pieces put back together, maybe we'll see a different side of Philly and they'll be able to kind of maneuver around that Zarya a little bit better, not give him as much charge, kind of work a little bit faster to that backline. I'm unsure, but excited to see how map 3 is going to play out.
Yeah, and of course, it wasn't a streamed game, but actually Chicago had another game earlier in the week. And Vanguard can flex around off the Zarya. We've seen some Junker Queen picks. So even if Philly does have an answer here, again, that Chicago still has a chance to pivot back, change tanks, change their game plan, play the back and forth, the rock, paper, scissors, that is Overwatch. So yeah, I'm really excited, especially on this map. I don't think we've seen I shouldn't say a Ruby game, but I do believe Philly on push maps, whether by their choosing or another team's, has ended up on Coliseo a lot.
I think so. I believe.
So, yeah, this is a different look than I think we've seen in the past.
The picks coming out on the side of Philly make me so excited. We're looking at Alari, we're looking at a BAP, we're looking at Foliage on the Bastion. This should be very, very interesting and entertaining to watch as Esperanza is about to go underway. I'm excited to see how Philly plays into Chicago.
Yeah, again, you have Vanguard on the Zarya, but now a lot of damage on the side of Philly. He's going to have to be very careful about how he manages these bubbles here, how he takes his engages. Of course, he does have the benefit of having the Lucio speed if he does make an overcommitment, if they save Amp. And here we have it, both teams starting to sort of poke out.
One bubble is down. He's going to have to be careful about when that next bubble comes out. But an early form coming out from Chicago as well. Early land. There's a lot of low members on the side of Chicago. Are they going to take kills? There's one on a ghost face.
And still, even though they're up, both teams still posturing. The Bastion wheels coming out again from Chicago, making Philly a little hesitant. And as soon as it ends, the form comes out, potentially securing the fight win here for Philly. And yeah, that was really just textbook. Typically, when you're in these Bastion comps, a rule of thumb, not a hard 100%, but a rule of thumb is typically you want to use your wheels second. Typically.
Yes.
So Foliage, great discipline there. Seeing Brilliant uses wheels early, he holds his, and then is sort of able to just shove Chicago into that tiny room there by the bot. Very textbook.
I also really like what's coming out of Philly in terms of the supports, right? You have two supports that can, yes, heal quite a lot. Pylon and Bat by himself heal quite a lot. But not only that, both of those supports can deal massive amounts of damage if unchecked. And we're going to see an early window take out the Lucio again.
Ult's coming out. Cole out. Picks going in the side of Chicago. Shogun able to get one.
Blue Jay took the power of the sun straight to the face. It exploded, and Mans was hanging out at 1 HP. That was nuts. But like you said, he, only one to fall. We're gonna see Shogun. We're gonna see a couple swaps now. Foliage mirroring the Reaper. Shogun getting the Lucio. Very good fight coming out from Chicago. Now they're gonna have Deadeye. They're getting close to a bomb. They really just need to worry about a Deadeye and a oh god, it's not Nemesis. It's the other one from Andrew.
Yeah, the Ramadra ult is on the table. Blue Jay engaging with an early high noon.
Lots of low members on the side of Philly, though. It dropped Andrew and Shogun fast, but Vanguard's going to be able to take out two.
And now just clean up here on the last members of Philly hanging on. Yeah, and honestly, if you're Philly and you rewind back two fights, you wonder if you want that Alari ult back, or maybe the BAP window. It came out, it did find one, but maybe just a tad too early. And now you have the ult economy sort of stacked against you here with swaps coming out as you have to push back into this Diva Bomb, beat the Reaper ult.
We're going to see a beat. We're going to see a Blossom. We're going to see a Deadeye. And honestly, I think an expensive one for sure. Considering you're having to use that beat, I don't think they really needed it. But honestly, if it secures the fight, go for it.
Bomb coming out. Finds two. Incredible.
Vanguard, you maniac.
And while Chicago's just pushed up trying to get these staggers and securing kills, Ghostface is just on point. They're just gaining distance for free. And Blue Jay gets picked off early here.
Honestly, if you're Chicago, you're fine with that. You keep pushing the advantage that you have and see if you can get any of these kills while you just continue to gain more and more distance on that bot.
Yeah, and a good disengage coming out. They have to be careful, Philadelphia. They're without a tank. Andrew's the one pushing bot here, and Chicago did get close spawns.
There's a Blossom, there's a Cole. Blue Jay gonna go down, but it looks like the other members of Philly are gonna have to kind of disengage. Now they're looking to come back into it. Chicago needs to be careful since they're having to run all the way back to where Andrew pushed that bot.
Philly able to take control of this high ground now. Laggy up top. Andrew committing the form.
Gonna make sure that he can live through this fight, have his support to keep him up. Honestly, that ult I think was just a good idea to keep him in that fight. We're gonna see a beat and a Deadeye. A lot of ults coming out.
Not finding anyone. This is getting real scrappy with the window, but looks like it's going in the favor of Chicago. And now just Andrew on point. Ooh. I mean, they did get the checkpoint. They will all get close spawn here, I believe, which is good for them. Good for this recontest.
But you look at this, and Philly was at the exact same point. Use two support ults, get nothing from it, and the exact same thing just happened. We're going to see Andrew mirror the Diva. Maybe a change of tank will help him a little bit, get him closer to that comp they've been running. But I mean, now they're gonna get Ghostface out. I think if you're Philly, you got to be a lot more careful when you're using these ults.
Chicago committed using ults, using the Diva Bomb and Cole. Vanguard gets his remake, and it's just gonna be cleanup again. And that's sort of, I think Chicago's doing a great job of using their ults. They haven't had like a huge overcommitment, and they're cycling their support ults really well, so they always have something for Philly's engages if they need it, whether it's the Cole or the Beat.
Right, you're gonna look at Blossom on the side of Philly, but there's a Beat and an opposing Blossom coming out from Chicago. There's the Beat.
Beats are
engaged.
Reaper ult coming out.
But the Flex Lamp and DM gonna shut it down. Now Foliage is the only ult on the board. Just kidding, I'm a liar. Dyer's got one. There's another Beat, there's another DM. But Brilliant's gonna go down.
Oh, they're bullying the Moira. Both teams looking for trades on the support. Darklaw goes down, but Dyer down right away. And again, Ghostface gets traded out.
So no supports on the side of Chicago. They're looking to just stall for as much time as they can since they do have such a big advantage.
And that was really well kited there by Philadelphia. Now Andrew is back on the Diva. Mira, probably more comfortable for him.
Laggy also now on the Genji. Much more comfortable for, you know, a one trick, I would say.
Yes, of course, the one trick Genji. Yeah, that Mei was not it, bud. Don't play that character. Sorry.
On for it.
And we have Chicago here amping it on the back line. They do force out Beat. A bomb coming out. Gets Lamp.
Andrew and Dyer are both low, but they should be able to stabilize. Here comes that window out from Dyer.
Shogun. Oh, it is Dyer. Oh my god.
Get wrecked.
I'm drunk.
But it seems like Chicago are finding the picks. Pulse Bomb goes a bit wide from Blue Jay. There's trades back and forth, but now it should be Chicago finishing off Andrew. Maybe honestly just let him hang out for a little bit. Nope, they're gonna kill him. He's gone within a second.
No, and smart of Andrew, he did die on the bot. If they didn't kill him, the bot they wouldn't have been able to push. So he did save himself the stagger there. The long baby diva stagger that is sometimes inherent in Overwatch.
You're running around getting booped by people, getting pushed around. It's miserable. We're seeing ults on both sides. We're going to see Shogun fall very early.
Cole coming out. Philly trying to kite. But honestly, a lot of damage getting done with the Cole. Yeah, they're able to focus Andrew and get out of mech, and it's just cleanup. Once the Diva's out of mech, it is kind of just over.
This is now starting to look scary. You have a minute left, and you're running into 3, soon to be 4 ults on Chicago. You of course have 3 of your own, but you have no support ults to fight through this. Philly's got to be very careful. As an early beat to engage, we've seen this before.
Coming up with nothing on the Death Blossom. Ooh, but Blue Jay with a pick onto the Reaper, who has ult.
It was in spawn, the bomb. That should be it. I think Vanguard and Blue Jay just sealed up the game.
And Laggy with an AKM blade. He didn't even use it. Oh my god. Who signed this guy?
Bro. I mean, that was just a stomping coming out from Chicago. I think it looked close at times, but I think you look back at these maps, you're looking at a lot of ults that did not get value. Whether it was the AKM blade that just never existed in the first place, or some of these support ults coming out from Philly that just didn't find much. That was just a rough showing from Philadelphia. But honestly, a great showing from Chicago.
Yeah, if you're Chicago, you're real happy about that one. Honestly, I don't think there's much to say about it other than they played super cleanly, and they have showed you can stop the Philly comp. It is possible. Your team might not have the pieces for it, but Chicago's does, and they did it definitively tonight. So yeah, with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is our game for tonight, and with that, I think Chicago sort of cements their seed 1 standing at the moment.
I'm very excited to see how these teams continue into the next weeks. Philly's going to have to bounce back. You know, you're looking at the schedule. That's going to be one of your harder opponents. But like you said, I think that kind of just covers it for us. Unless we've got any final words, that might be all she wrote.
Uh, yeah, no, just GG's to both teams, and thanks everyone for watching tonight. We'll see you here for the next game, whether it be Emerald or Ruby. Make sure you tune in.
We could pack our bags tomorrow, leave all of our sorrows, see where all this road goes, maybe San Diego, oh. Maybe San Diego, oh. Roll down all our windows, just see where the wind blows, one leg out the window, sit like a flamenco, oh. Sit like a flamenco, oh. You can run and you can hide, you can look and try to find, take a breath, open your mind, take it one ride at a time. Take it one ride at a time. We got lost an hour ago. Where did all our time go? Where we are, no one knows. Maybe San Francisco. Oh, maybe San Francisco. Oh, we could roll down all our windows, just see where the wind blows. One leg out the window, sit like a flamenco. Oh, sit like a flamenco. Oh. You can run and you can hide, you can look and try to find, take a breath, open your mind, take it one day at a time. You can run and you can hide, you can look